Hi, friends. Welcome to the Catch Up, where I, Bryan Sumardi, hosts some cool people, and I get into their backgrounds. This podcast focuses on people who are passionate about health, wealth, art, and creativity. A little background on me. I am a Marine, powerlifter, personal trainer, and just overall curious guy. Well, enough about me. Let's get right into it.
Sumo! One Sumo! Let's go!
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Schleich.
I haven't done this in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you're coming out with new ones all the time. I'm a big fan, by the way,
Thanks.
of your Instagram. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, of your life, of course, but Instagram is my main exposure to that.
Yeah? What is it, the pictures or is it the captions?
It's just all the information that you express on
Yeah?
the internet. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I try. As I try. It's, I don't know. Like, it's the same thing we were talking about when we were at Fridays, where, like, I have all this information that I've been gathering.
Yeah.
But I feel like,
gush it out. And
yeah, if I hold it to myself, I feel selfish. And I just hope someone listens or helps someone out some way.
Yeah.
That's all I do for.
I respect that. You know, in the folk stories and things, where they're like, the star, or the lights, or the obelisk, the thing in the horizon that they gotta go find.
Yeah.
Like, if nobody erects their obelisk, then nobody has somewhere to go to. And I feel like if you're just constantly gushing your thoughts, then somebody's gonna see that and be like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy I need to see, because that's, you know, that has meaning to me. That has value to me. So I'm gonna seek that out.
I feel like I do that more in my stories. You think with stories too? More?
Well, like I'm saying, like as far as your medium goes, you're putting a beacon out there.
Yeah.
That opens you up for judgment, but also it attracts the people who have your
Similar interest mindset.
yeah.
Yeah.
The mindset, the interest. That's how we met, basically.
Right.
You know.
I came in. Hey, I want to dance.
When it was crazy, because like you came in here and you were asking like good questions.
Yeah.
And the things that I had the most issue with my work environment at that time were the exact things that you incited.
Okay. What was one of the questions? I know I throw out a lot of questions.
Right. Well, I mean, just like how does this work? Like, do I want more moves? Do I want to learn how to lead? Like, how do I get my goals accomplished?
Right.
And rarely do people come
with that kind of mindset.
To partner dancing. They think, wow,
Yeah.
it's so pretty.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that. I want to just nibble on a little piece of that cloud.
Yeah.
And then I'll be in heaven, you know?
Right.
And then, like, it is a skill. It's a skill. It's essentially a language.
Yeah.
A kinetic language.
Yeah.
And you said, I'm going to learn this so that I can talk and have, like, an artful experience with people.
Right.
And just, you get that. And that's what I came to it for. And the same, like, roadblocks that I ran into were the ones that
I was
ran
asking
into with your teachers, like with all the people you're teaching, and they were like, man, this guy like doesn't get the system, he's going outside of like what we usually do, you know?
Right.
And I was like,
I felt that.
That's what we want him to do. That's what we want our students to be able to do.
Yeah.
Is learn how to dance the best way.
Yeah.
And
like there's not one systematically way. Like it's a guideline, but it's not the end all be all type of thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like if you want something bad enough, you're gonna use the systems that are available to provide you information
to the masses, and then you tweak it to your own
you
will.
Use it to how it's useful to you.
Yeah.
And then when you've finished with it, or when you've learned as much as you can, or when you've learned how the system can benefit you the best way, then you have that cataloged as, oh, that's a system that's going to do this, this, and this for me.
Yeah.
Let me try more different programs and different systems.
Right.
To make sure that I have a complete knowledge, because I'm aware of how much knowledge there is out there.
Yeah.
And of all the knowledge I need to become what I
want to achieve. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I think many people who I've been exposed to, who I serve in my work, need someone else to tell them what they want to be.
Yes.
You know.
Okay. I can definitely dwell on that.
And I don't know if that's something that's intrinsic to people, or if that's something that, like what is a quality about a human being that allows them to resist that, or to go outside of that? Because that's something that I think is culturally taught, like fit into your place, work hard, retire, and then you can enjoy your life. And then, you know, there's peripheral like services that are like, hey, and stay healthy while you do that. And I mean, I guess what I do, that's what we kind of do, is like, listen, you're in this moment, and take control of your body, and like enjoy your life and grow it while you're right now. And
still have structure, kind of. That's what we were taught. But no, what I was thinking though is I do believe that it's intrinsic. Yeah. Because in the book that I was reading, I think I was telling you about Sapiens, in very historic times, I could say. I don't know the specific time periods.
Olden days.
We were taught to. Really, we just had multiple fathers. Like, we weren't taught by one single person. Like, in terms of mentorship, like, what I read was women would casually sleep around with many men, so then many men became...
Would protect their young.
Yeah. And then, so with each different men, they would teach their child, their son, their daughter to do what they know, or they teach them their knowledge. So it was never like... I mean, as a baby, like, we don't know anything. So that we just try to pick up everything that we see. And that's why I feel like this is where I get a little controversy in terms of ADHD or ADD. It's like, it's not a bad thing, but I feel like everyone has that. And then, but when people talk about it, it has a negative like connotation behind it.
It's like a disease.
Right. I'm like,
but
it's not bad.
It's just a quality of someone's mind.
Right. It just, some people express it more than others. And I feel like in American society, we kind of suppress that feeling.
I think maybe not American, but industrial society.
Yes.
It gets suppressed.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
I think that's a big thing. Like, there's a lot of like stigma against, like, oh, Americans, like, they don't get it, like, they just overeat, but like people in like the UK and like, you know, other countries, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not gonna throw out like specifics out here, but like America or the United States actually has like that culture is very dominant.
Yeah.
But I think it exists in most colonial cultures, and I think most like industrial cultures.
It's a sense of like organization and structure. But I feel like
subjugation of people.
Yeah,
I think is the main hallmark of industrial culture.
Yeah,
is leadership of people such that they fill a mechanical role in the prosper of the system, the governance.
I'm still at a point where I'm trying to figure it out too, but I'm at a point also where like I care, but I don't care.
Like, I'm gonna use this system until it doesn't useful to me anymore.
Right.
I feel like I don't know where that comes from. That's what I'm interested in.
Okay, it's like a certain extent to like where I want to know why people think this way, but does it really relate to me? No, so fuck it.
Right.
Because like when I think about structure, I think about like people who need structure. Like when it comes to like lawyers, doctors, like you have to know the human body to be a doctor. You have to know if I'm sick, like what's really going on in my body, and it's like a clear-cut answer. I mean, it may be like a variation between two different diseases or virus or infection, but there's going to be one thing that's wrong. It's a disease, and it has to have a label.
And I want someone with the knowledge who's going to be able to determine how to change that.
Heal me, fix me. Yeah.
Yes.
Like I don't care whether it's take me to Hong Kong and take me to Doctor Strange and astral project my body out of and just go to space. Or it's just like, here, take these antibiotics and take 2 a day until a week and then come back to see how you feel. Like, all right, that's it.
Even then, you got to know which antibiotics. You
True.
got to know how much. You got to know exactitudes of...
Yeah, prescription, because we can overdose.
Yeah.
Also, most medicine has side effects and that kind of thing.
And like on that note, I would argue that I think every profession or like any activity, anything that you do that has
yes, beat making
any activity, circle of fifths, but like anything that you do that accomplishes a task or that. Any problem that you solve would, I wouldn't say requires a structure, but will benefit from structure.
Yes.
You were saying about there's certain professions that require structure, but I think a structure is a tool to provide efficient actions.
Yes.
So that you don't have to explore your way through a problem every single time. You have like a tunnel system, so to speak, of ways that have already been explored. So you're like, well, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, it must be here. And you narrow your choices like that. And like with training, like if you have somebody who wants to power lift, you're going to not focus on a lot of other things. Like I don't know, train someone to power lift, but like, or for example, if I was teaching somebody to be able to jump higher or to be able to have more like a more powerful tumbling pass, I wouldn't have them hypertroph. I would have them
explosion.
Exactly. Yeah. So like having a structure of knowledge of these are the exercises that I would have someone for hypertrophy. These are the exercises for like maximum effort power, like anaerobic, like explosion.
Yeah.
So if it's not this, it's this, and I know that immediately, and then I can narrow from there. So like structure is a tool. So it's like, and that's what we were talking about on Friday. Is like organization is like a critical part of achieving, like doing work. Like I think that's going all over the place, but like human beings have a unique ability to be very dexterous with their efforts.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is we can decipher exactly where force is needed to accomplish a task or to like move a wall or something. Like you can figure out what it's made of. You can figure out like where to apply force to knock down a wall. Versus like a bear, which is significantly stronger, will probably just push on it or give up, right?
Well, to be honest, I think we are very similar to that. Like in terms of our primal instincts. It's like if we didn't have technology that helped us move to make things more efficient, like terms of like the thing about a cell phone, like to talk to someone from long distances, like I'm thinking about Gutenberg now, like the printing press. Thinking about like we wrote letters because that was the only way we knew how to interact with someone from like, I don't know, maybe just 10 miles away.
Yeah.
And we had to wait for the post office to have delivered our piece of paper that we written on paper and deliver the message, then write back and forth. And then now we have technology where we just have to push a couple buttons on a touchscreen phone and just put the receiver to our ear and it's like, hey,
digitally,
what's going on?
It never like interacts with matter. It's
right.
Like it's like energy,
energetically
transferred.
The thing that I always try to get to is like the root when it comes to problem solving, like when it comes to fitness as well, because it's always misleading as well. Like to say I hurt my wrist. How did I hurt my wrist? It was a leverage. I fell off a motorcycle. So when I was falling, I gripped hard on that handle. I try to bring it back up only with my hand and just try to use leverage to bring it back up. But in that case, I held it at an angle where leverage wise, my wrist took all the pressure.
Yeah.
And because of that, it could start from my shoulder or start from a weak core where I could have used my entire body to help me balance it back up. or in that, because it was my first time riding a bike, just figuring it out. And whenever I come to like pain, when it comes to clients, like, yeah, my calf hurts or my leg hurts, or like in terms of my I don't know, mainly it's always in the hip. That's what I've been finding a lot. Hip pain and low back pain. But I think the best example I have is actually neck.
Oh yeah.
Behind the upper traps, neck area. What I've been finding is that people stand awkwardly in terms of posture, or they sleep inefficiently, for a lack of better terms.
Crooked. They sleep crooked.
Yeah. The majority of my clients I have, they sleep on their side, and then they sleep like with a crooked head. With that, your head is at an angle where it's not normally at. So when you're standing up, when seated all day, you're like this, like, nope, your body got used to this. So I think as humans, we are very like adaptable, and not really like, when I think of the word dexterous, I think that we're pliable, but we're only pliable to a certain extent. So, and I think in terms of the primal instincts, that our bodies learn from our mind, and our mind is grounded to their floor, where it's always in our feet. When I always think about that, it's like, I learned this from working at a running store. We have like these little like balls with like nubs in it, and I would roll out my feet. And I would actually remember, I had another friend who's a masseuse. He, like, I told him I was having some like gas problems. Like, I was getting this like backed up, and like my body would hurt. I would feel very lethargic, and he massaged my feet. And it was really weird. It's like right by the ball of my foot. He pressed on it. It hurt so bad. But by the time he was done, I was fine the next day.
That's gangsta.
Yeah. I was like, that's mad dope. I'm like, oh, fuck. So what he really said was me being seated all day. Because like if I would eat, since we're seated, and I sit in the office desk all day, the food never has time to digest through the body, and it gets backed up, and mainly in your like large intestine before it comes out. And if it gets backed up, then it screws up your entire body.
It's gonna rot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what makes it a pooty stink.
Need some more fiber.
But I had a Lyft driver today named Alexandra.
Alexandra. Wait, what? How does that?
It was R-E instead of E-R.
Oh.
Alexandra.
Did you ask where he's from?
Nah, I was only with him for about 2 minutes. So
Oh.
it was one of those.
Gotcha.
And I asked him how his day was, and he was like, that's it. He didn't say anything. Because he didn't hear me. His wife. He might have been deaf. Anyways.
All right, on that note, I have to give you an introduction. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back to the Catch Up with Bryan, Sumo, Sumardi. This is where, I don't know, it's how I do it. I have an audience today. I feel very special. I feel like a Tonight Show host.
We're live, studio audience.
We're live! Oh, those are real claps. I don't have like those little sign that says applause. But today I have, welcome back to the Catch Up, where I feed my curiosity by meeting some cool ass people. Cheers.
Cool ass.
To that. Today's guest, Nick Tax. I don't know how to explain to you, but you're a good friend. He taught me how to do a backflip and a front flip within a couple hours.
That's true. That's my specialty.
A
couple hours, and I'll teach you how to flip over backwards.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my.
Face your fears.
Face your fears. That identifies me.
And commitment.
Face your fears. That's right. Yes, face your fears and commit to facing your fears.
If I were to give you an intro, I met you through Arthur Murray.
Yeah.
We danced. You weren't my teacher.
And we danced.
By the moon and the stars in the sky. That's not the right song, but I like it.
We remixed it.
The melody blended. It was harmony.
Yes! Hey.
I love it. Yeah, you weren't my teacher, but I knew you we were on the same wavelength in terms of the way we thought.
And we've been lovers ever since.
Yes, ever since. We dance in our thoughts and we dance in person.
Yeah. Ooh, naughty.
Shit. You're a b-boy. I recently found that out through your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That I found Bolt Parkour in Bethesda, Rockville, somewhere, I don't know, North Bethesda.
Boiling Rock Road.
Yes. Amazing place if you want to learn to express yourself through explosive athletic movements.
Explosive athletic movements, yes.
Yes. You're an amazing dancer in terms of b-boy / ballroom. Ballroom. Going to New York to find some
ballroom.
I don't know, girls to do my swing with.
Yeah.
What's your favorite dance?
That's legit.
I know I'll ask you that.
The hustle, and that's a good question.
That.
Yeah, hustle is my favorite dance for a couple of reasons. The first being that the music that it's classically danced to is like it's like old school hip hop. It's like turn of the 70s, like when hip hop was growing up,
right?
And like there was like R&B was getting to be a thing, and then like disco funk was all being born. Like,
I miss funk.
You miss funk? It's all over the internet. Like
where? I feel like I don't get the same vibe. I was listening to like the Breakfast Club the other day.
Yeah,
there's a lot of funk around.
Really?
Yeah.
But I don't feel the passion behind it.
I don't know about new funk, but
yeah, I'm saying like anything that's out now is different. It's not the same.
It's new funk. But it just depends on what you're listening to. If that's not your main feed or wavelength, you're not gonna find it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like Star Child, the motherfucker from P-Funk, his son is actively touring right now.
Okay.
Now, granted, it's not the same, but
right.
Like. Yeah, there's funk artists out there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, think of Childish Gambino. Like, he had that new album like 2 Octobers ago. Awaken My Love. That one.
That's considered funk?
It's not considered funk, but it has like a lot of funk like inspiration on it.
Yes. Well, I'm thinking like purely funk.
Okay. Yeah.
Like that, I want to hear. I heard of Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift made I don't know, like an a cappella version of Earth, Wind, and Fire song. I forgot what song she did, but
Is it good?
She tore it up, like in terms of like she made it disgusting. Oh. There was no soul, there was no nothing. If you look it up, she was singing something.
That makes me upset.
It was
yeah, no, it was garbage.
It was just garbage because it was hype.
You know what song it was?
Yeah.
What song was it?
September.
Yes! September!
God, no!
I was like, no! Like, Taylor, you are an amazing artist, but I need some passion. Like,
it was just because she's Taylor Swift and people jump on the hype train and like, oh, it's horrible because truthfully, it was,
because she did it with like, she did it in like, heartbreaking soul. Yeah. Like, do you remember?
She's like Fergie when she sung that national anthem.
Shit!
It's just like.
I heard. Oh, I didn't see Fergie. I never watched the thing, but I just thought she was like drunk or something. That's what she explained.
She's trying to do. You know how back in the day, jazz, when they would be like, it would be like little sounds they would make. I forgot what it's called. Scatting.
Oh, yeah.
She was trying to do that with the national anthem, and it didn't come out.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah, but how she did it was just...
Oh, poorly done.
Yeah.
Poorly done. That's tragic.
I don't know.
I feel like that's a big like tenet for living your life. Like, you just do a good job. I don't give a fuck what you do. You do a good job. For real.
Yeah.
We were talking about hustle.
Hustle
is my favorite dance for 2 reasons. One, the music is motivated by some of the finest. I like if you imagine like your most deep thought. You imagine like the realest you've ever been with yourself. You imagine like if you've ever done like shrooms or acid or like DMT or something like that. Like the place that you go to is like what I imagine funk music is trying to replicate.
Yes.
And that is my favorite shit ever.
Okay, I see where you're getting at. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't feel any music is really trying to get you out of the world. It's just it's very surface level.
And not that we need to get out of the world, but like we only have a couple senses.
Yeah.
And there's like stuff that also is going on outside of what we can sense.
Yeah.
And I think like people get that.
Yeah.
And that's why we make art, is to try to replicate that. And I feel like funk is like the closest musical art form to aligning with that.
I think that's very subjective.
Extrasensory. Totally subjective. Yeah, for me, for sure.
Yeah.
Funk is that for me.
I like lo-fi hip-hop.
Right.
Like, for me, I just get into the tune, and I can just focus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with that, I'm in this, like, ride. This, like, nice, slow ride where I can, like, imagine, like, I'm on a coast of the world, and it's, like, looking at the ocean, and looking onto my right, and I see, like, city. So I can imagine being on both worlds, and I feel like I'm at balance. And at the same time, I'm falling one side to another.
And that's deeply satisfying, isn't it?
Yes!
Deeply satisfying, because it speaks to a quality of your humanity that is not tapped by other things, other physical things. And I think that's what is worth seeking.
Yeah.
It, like, whatever you do, that, I guess, like, that harmony with what resonates with the extrasensory world.
Yeah.
Is the stuff that you should pursue, and because that's going to be the most motivating, the most satisfying experience that you can have, and that's going to produce the most complete, like, whatever the fuck, anything.
But well,
okay if I'm saying fucking shit and stuff.
I don't care.
You're gonna
YouTube doesn't pay me anything. Ad revenue doesn't bother me.
Gotcha.
I just hope someone takes this information and changes their way of thinking, to be honest. As long as they don't kick me off YouTube. But I feel like you have to do something pretty dirty. Like, if Logan Paul can videotape people dying and make fun of it.
He's the popular kid in school, so.
Well, he can do whatever he wants. Yeah.
They cannot promote this video, but
we gotta get this kid to graduation, okay?
No child left behind, right?
He makes our school look good.
Yeah, he makes our school popular.
He is
we can suspend him for a little bit. We can't expel him.
We can't let him be outside of school. He's in school suspension, so he's still around the other children. What I was thinking something with the ride. I was thinking about. Don't you think that it's very just? I had to look this up. The definition of ego through, like, definition of like Webster. It's like the self-perceiving thoughts that you're most important. And by being on the surface level in today's society, that I feel like with social media and whatnot, it gets misdirected in the way that we are very important to ourselves as well as to others. And that's why we can't get out of it in terms of getting outside of our heads and thinking outside the box. Like you were saying earlier about me asking questions about being outside of the system.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Yeah.
And, like, I want to know how I can communicate rather than I just want to learn these dance moves just for the sake of dancing.
Yeah. I want to be included in the system.
Yeah.
But not that. You want something greater, something that overarches that.
Yeah, I want to actually exist rather than be a part of this competition where I want to win. Like, winning to me is subjective in the point where my goal to win is to build harmony. To, like, the person I'm dancing with, I connect to on a level that you're like, oh shit. They're really, like, clicking. Yeah. Like, you can tell if someone makes a mistake. I'm pretty sure you can see this in a dance, especially like in a partner situation. But they clean up so well that you can't even tell that it was a mistake.
Yeah,
that's another thing I think I was telling actually Damani about b-boying.
Yeah,
like, I appreciate so much that you guys can, like, move full force in momentum, like in a flare, and then stop with a freeze.
Yeah,
at any moment second, just when you hear the beat. You're like, oh shit, that's the beat drop, freeze, boom.
Yeah.
And then, wow, that is amazing to me. And then because I try it, like, just to get the move in, a power move, that is hard.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing about that, because music has a pattern to it.
Yeah.
And if you are a dancer, then you know the pattern.
Yeah.
And you can predict when that hit is going to happen.
Yeah.
And so it's never like I'm flaring and then beat's going to happen in 0.2 seconds. You know, it's never like that. It's like, okay, I got like a 10 count. Yeah, exactly. I got another measure. I got to clean this thing up.
Yeah.
And then you just like give it all you got, and you're like, I can do it, and then and then you hit it. But like that takes preparation, and that takes
for sure
knowledge of like the specific way that b-boy music pans out and the patterns of breakbeats.
I got really into the stock market like probably in the past 9 months.
Yeah.
And I realized that as humans, we are very pattern driven.
Yeah.
Like we seek to find patterns to understand life.
Yeah.
Without that
satisfaction.
Right. And what I was thinking in terms of dance is like being on the audience side of a performance, like if you're so encaptured by the power move, you're like, oh shit, he's going.
That's amazing.
If you're not used to that movement, like a flare, it's like, oh shit, is he gonna fall?
Hyper stimulating.
Right, but you already know what you're gonna do next because you understand the patterns.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, what's the word?
Invigorating?
No, I'm thinking more of like the Purple Man. Every time I talk about the Purple Man, you know what I'm talking about? Mesmerizing in terms of persuasion. Yeah, hypnotizing. In the way that, like, oh shit, like as the audience, you don't know what's happening next, but you already know in terms of like magic tricks.
Yeah.
Like I already have that card up my sleeve.
Yeah.
It's like, but you don't know. You're looking at my hand.
Yeah.
I'm over here. But
yeah.
You slip it off from this hand. Whoop, that's the card.
It's and people will always react different to that.
Yeah.
Because
I think it depends how much you can capture attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm thinking it from the perspective of like, oh well, I already know what's gonna happen. It's it's bland for me. I have an expectation of how my body's going to move now.
Yeah.
But someone viewing has no idea, and they're surprised, and that incites emotion. And that's what's well, I guess that's like, again, subjective for me. Like when I'm b-boying and when I surprise somebody and I incite emotion in somebody, that's satisfying. That's like, oh shit.
Yeah, because it's different now. So once you understand the patterns, you realize that, okay, I see where he's going.
Yeah.
But still, he got me. Or I saw the emotion that it took. It's a different appreciation. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
I want to get into how you got into all of your things. Like, how did you... I got a question the other day on my Instagram. So I was asking questions, like, ask me any questions. So any AMA.
Yeah.
A question.
So interesting.
Yeah. A question was just like
human connection.
How did you get over your fears and just like get out there? I'm like, I was just really curious. What made it for you?
How did I get over my fears?
Well, not really just your fears, but just like kind of like the being subjective part. Like when I ask you about dance and parkour, free running, or like tricking.
Yeah.
Like you just do it like effortlessly. And I'm just like, how did you get to that point?
I appreciate that you think so. I'm glad that that's the image.
Because it's subjective. Like when I go to the Sunday group meets, it's just like everyone looks up to you. I can see that. Yeah.
Well, shit.
People are coming to you for salsa lessons. People are coming to you to refine their power moves, their tricking. Like you're kind of their cult leader in a way.
I'm Papa.
Yeah.
I'm Daddy.
Papa Tax.
I'm the daddy now, y'all.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, that's a good question. I feel like my journey has been like way past that. Like the physical skills that I have are consequential to the things that I care about.
Elaborate on that.
What I mean by that is like so like when I was in high school, I went through like pretty deep depression. Like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to keep on, you know?
Really?
So that was like, well, I could live or I could die, you know? And it was kind of like, what am I going to put effort into?
Right.
And like, that's where I was at.
Yeah.
So, you know, when it came down to it and I had some experiences that guided me to, I think I should live. Like, I think that's a better option.
Yeah.
Kind of generally. And I kind of like...
What was that moment to you? Or like, what happened? Like, what was that? Shit. I'd rather live.
Well, it was like a bunch of things. Because, like, so basically what it came down to, and like there's many experiences that like put stock into this, but like the things that make you come in contact with death make you realize how absolute it is. Yeah. And also how limited life is. Yeah. Like I mean, for the most part, like they say, like, well, there's only two certain things, death and taxes, right? And and my last name is Tax, so I got that squared away. So like, it's just death, right? And like, when you come face to face with the idea that it could all be over forever. Yeah. And forever is something that's hard to conceptualize. Forever is something that you don't really experience. It's like an infinitude that you can't sense because we are by nature finite.
Just to tap in on that, I just want to like get into game theory. I feel like it'll give you better. Did you learn about game theory?
So we talked about it a little bit.
It's the breakdown of finite and infinite. Finite and infinite theories. The way that I break it down is between infinite is more of like macro. Think of macro living. Like, I think my goal is to just increase harmony between people. Like, more and more I think about things, I think I just want to get people in tune with one another.
With one another, yeah.
Or at least to the way that we understand our people. Mm-hmm. It's like the reason why I'm attracted to you and the dance group with the dance, it's like we think the same. Mm-hmm. If I were to go to a lawyer or certain, this actually happened, MLM people, they're
multi-level marketing. I looked it up.
What is it?
Multi-level marketing.
Multi-level marketing. And it's kind of how I felt about the military. It was like there's a chain of command, and there's a point where I can't talk to this person because he's 2 ranks above me. But I'm like, he's just like me. Mm-hmm. He even may be my same age. You want another one? Yeah?
Out of fun, nice.
Oh. Which one?
The other one.
The other one? Sweet.
Oh, I shouldn't.
Dang.
Oh, my.
We're trying some new stuff.
What's this here?
Some local brews.
Traditional German-style wheat.
I would love for a beer company to sponsor me, because the first one was
El Jefe Speaks.
Oliver Brewing Company from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm from Maryland. Let that be known.
Let it be known.
But the next one is a DC Bra.
Hashtag shout out MD.
Yeah! Get it!
Yeah!
Holla at your boy!
Holla at your boy! Oh, shit.
I completely forgot what I was saying now.
Let's see. We talked about dancing. Why is my favorite? I was talking about
you were talking
like
about
facing my
finite game theory.
Infinite. Yeah, that's right.
Game theory.
Yes.
Now, I'm a big Gary Vee fan. So when I think about macro versus micro, and then putting that as a binary situation of something composed between the two, it should always be on the same wavelength. Like, in terms of harmony, I want to create everyone to be able to understand how to work with each other. Yeah. But micro theory, I want everyone to be in tribes. Like, I work best with you because we speak the same language.
Yeah.
Where someone else like antagonizing me may not be my best way to learn, but they also help me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Useful, but in controlled amounts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because like I hear I put this in perspective. Is like when someone tells me if I ever say I try, and someone corrects me, it's like, no, you will. Like, I understand I will, but for me, when I say I try, like, it's along my journey. Like, it's not like a misconception to me where like I won't get it, because I know I will, because that's how my mind works. Mm-hmm. But when I say I try, I have to I am putting effort into it, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. Rather than absolutely, I will do it. Like it's like whenever you see someone who's like the straight A student, it's like a kiss ass. Like, fuck that kid. But that's just me. That's just how I think. I don't know. Do you think the same way? I feel like you were talking about finite thing too.
So you're talking about like somebody who. Just say again.
So
finite in their.
Where someone's too motivated, that we say in the military, who's like really, like if our higher up basically tells us, all right, we have to clean the vehicles today. It's like, all right, yes, that's all right, I'm on it.
Kiss ass.
Yeah. But just to get the job done, but we're all of us like, we're all just going to kick it. We're going to play some music and bullshit most of the time. But then if you're not being real about it, just to like look good for your higher ups,
playing the full system.
Yeah, like I don't knock it if it's true. Like if you're just the type of guy who's motivated to do anything, by all means, you're awesome.
Do your thing, but if you're putting on a facade to get like points, then
I feel like we should always be authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I feel like that's how you, like, if you create something as a facade or create something that is different from how you are, you are putting up a, like, poster, which is also a wall or a shield from things coming your way that may align with you better than your poster.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Because I think at a point, like with you, you're so in tune to your true self that you never notice what I just told you.
That is hilarious that you say that, because that has been such a journey.
Really?
Like I was postered up.
Yeah?
So yeah, but that's something that's really important to me actually is knowing myself. But I'm sorry, what were you saying about I'm in tune myself and that's why I don't
I don't try to front. I don't know. Because I make a lot of pivots in my life.
Yeah.
Because I was going to Baltimore earlier today.
Yeah.
And I was on the highway and a car like honks at me. I look to my left and I see a guy. At first I thought he was trying to race me. I'm like, okay, I'm not into it. But yeah, hey, thanks, man. All right, I'm gonna go change lanes. And then he changes lanes with me, and I look deeper and closer. It's one of my powerlifting friends.
Oh shit!
And I was like, but I met him like once actually. I met him at a powerlifting meet, and I was like, oh hey, and he follows me on Instagram. We keep in contact every now and then, but not as often. But he just yells at me like, hey, you going to the meet? And I'm like, no, I'm looking at property. And he's like, oh, okay. And then kind of like drove off. Yeah. But then it's like, it's funny to me when we have first impressions. Yeah. Because then they characterize you as that person. Like at one point in my life, I was like hardcore, dedicated powerlifter. Like I was viewed as an expert. Yeah. But to me, I was just like,
just doing what I like.
Yeah, I just want to lift things.
I was doing my best. Yeah.
I was really strong.
Do my best, Chief.
I'm gonna pick it up and put it back down. Yeah. Yes, boss.
I'm gonna pick it up real good.
It's like, look at me, I did it. Yeah, I put it down now.
All right. Yeah. I squeezed better than those other guys. Yeah.
I pushed it. You saw that?
I feel it.
Yeah, but then what I was thinking about is just like, but I think I've moved on in chapters, and people ask me like, "Oh, so it looks like you're not lifting anymore." Like, yeah, I changed my priorities. But then as soon as I said that, he was like, "Oh, yeah, I respect that," because I was real. I was like, "No, I'm still powerlifting. I'm just not doing it."
I swear, man. Like, yo, like I could basically,
I could live the same thing I did before.
I could win again if you like, if you know, if you want to go. Like,
right? Yeah. If you want to go, I got you. Meet me at the gym. But I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I just have changed my priorities, and it's just not as important to me anymore. So like that's what I appreciate. Like when it comes to relationships, when it comes to just friendships, like I appreciate authenticity.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more and more time goes on with technology, we can sense it.
Yes.
And I feel like that's the main knock on millennials. Like they're different. They're like this, like that. But no, we just see the truth.
Yes, we have such a saturation of information that we can have a better perspective and a better judgment of how people interact with each other.
Yes.
Because it's so variable.
Yes.
And I think that's something that makes the interaction really weird between different generations is there's so much more access to human interaction, whether it be through like letters in text or face to face or whatever. And you think about how before the internet was a thing, you are polite, and that's the piece of you that you want to show people, and all of your interactions are very intentional and very metered and very very like prepared.
Yeah. Otherwise,
you're viewed poorly because it's or like you're a common folk, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
Your ability to present yourself was a big deal, and it is a big deal still. But there's so much exposure to the different ways that people present themselves. And there's so many options, and for those who care, so many examples of what you can be and how you can like express yourself and what works best and what is like, wow, he being fake as fuck, right? You know about that because of the amount of exposure you have to different ways of communication.
And I think it's funny, like I don't know if you have like any long-term friends where someone has told you like you're acting brand new.
Yes.
Yeah, but then you're just like, no, I just had a pivot. Like I wanted to do something else.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, maybe it happened to you. I was talking to Lindsay actually, and she was telling Lindsay from
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really get into it, but I would say like when she first started, I asked her like, how did you go from hip hop to ballroom? And then she was basically like, for the money. But I understand that because I'm pretty sure her friends were like, why are you doing this? Like this is so not hip hop because it's so structured in terms of the movements. But she was like, no, I'm just making a change in my life, and I'm like, that's respectable.
Yeah.
And the thing about give me an example of how someone told you were brand new.
I was dating a girl who I thought was too good for me. I mean, who I thought was too good for me, and so like we went out to New York City for her modeling gig, and right, they just sneaked that one in there.
I like it.
And we met her friends who were her makeup artist and her costume designer.
Yeah.
And we went there, and her friends like really liked me, and I was like, I was feeling myself. I was like getting it. I was like, oh, I must be so charming, and
I could be a model.
I'm a model's boyfriend. Look at me. Oh, I'm such a model. I'm just a model's boyfriend. You know how it goes. But like that made me feel like fucking confident, which I never was before, because I was like, oh, like you're way too pretty, way too smart, like way too like cultured for my dumb ass. And I had always felt that. And then in that moment I was like, oh shit, like the people who love her also love me, as if we were equals, or like,
Yeah.
you know, and that was such a new perspective, and I was like,
famous.
I mean, kind of, and I don't necessarily mean like fame was what made me feel awesome, but just inclusion into what I was enamored with.
Kind of, okay.
Not like for once, but like that this thing that I idolized, I was now a part of suddenly.
Oh, okay.
And so
I see what you're saying.
That opened me up. That made me feel like I could be more myself.
It opened your mind to the way that like what was impossible was possible.
Yeah.
You could say. Okay.
Yeah, and so that was a pivot for me.
Yeah.
You know, that was a pivot, and then so I started like joking around and like bantering,
like being yourself.
Yeah, I was being myself, and I was calling people out on their shit. And,
yeah,
and like being like, what's the word when you're like confident in like your presence?
Cocky.
In a sense, yeah, I was definitely more cocky, but like, and like it was fun.
Yeah. And
so my girlfriend at the time, who was like, why are you acting all brand new? Now you got brand new friends and you acting all brand new.
Because she was jealous because like she never saw this part of you.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And
I understand that.
Yeah. So I forget why we were talking about that, but that's my experience.
You just see that brand new feeling.
Yeah.
And it was just because they haven't seen that part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Where I feel like everyone is possible to do anything. It's just until they tap into their mind, it's like, oh, I can do this.
Yo, that's my biggest epiphany in tumbling.
Yeah.
Right? I flip over backwards multiple times in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I do.
Right.
That's what I do for fun.
Yeah.
People look at me and they're like, oh my God, how is that possible? And like, you know, mostly people who haven't like been around that ever in their life.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, I mean, it's just a hobby, you know, it's no big deal.
Yeah, you just jump and use momentum, bro.
Yeah, you just jump, you tuck your knees, and you get on your feet.
Yeah, you just land on your feet. You do it on yourself. You might fuck up your knees, but you'll be alright.
I haven't, so not yet anyway. But and like it is amazing for people.
Yeah.
And that lost where I was going with this. What was the question you asked me?
Self-confidence, brand new. It was like brand new thing.
Brand new, making a pivot. Mind. Mind unlocking your abilities, right?
Yes.
And I am not any stronger than anyone else.
Yeah.
I'm not that strong. Like, I can't lift big weights. Like, I can't run fast. Like, I can't do any of these things. I just have worked and trained my mind to accept that if I jump as hard as I can and I tuck my knees at this specific time, I'll land on my feet.
Yeah.
And that gives me the confidence to do it 100 times in a night.
Yeah.
And the more times I do it, the easier it gets, and the more confident I get that, oh, I can do a backflip, there's no problem.
Yeah.
And that's what people see, and they're like, how could you possibly do that? And from where they're at, they couldn't do that right now because they haven't gone through that whole process.
I've been posting this a lot lately. Yeah. Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey.
Yeah.
I constantly, I'm on like a weekly basis. I post it up at least once a week because I am a true belief that is the most clearest way to illustrate how to do anything. Because you realize you want to do something.
That you can do anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because it's like exactly what you said. But I hate when people, I know there's certain guys on Sundays that do this as well.
Yeah.
That they want to correct themselves. Like, they can do the backflip.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, I'm not straight. I'm not this. I'm not that. They're nitpicky.
Yeah, and
but like,
let that stop them.
Right. Like, just be happy that you can do it and then work towards being better than yourself. Like, I understand that you want to be straight, but you could learn a different trick from that. Like, if you're like crooked, like you like spin the other way, like I looked outside, I could maybe turn that into a twist.
Yeah.
Like be creative with your art.
And don't let your emotional experience with failing stop you from eventually succeeding.
Yes.
That is the hugest thing. I've been training people in things my whole life. Since I was 12. I've been training people to move their bodies some type of way. Yeah. And that's the shit that gets in the way of me being successful is when people emotionally experience failure and are like, I'm not good enough. They blame themselves. They add impact to Got it.
You got that nap? Yes. That what is that called? Karate Kid.
Correct. Yeah. Beginner's
Got it.
luck.
Done.
But
Evil eye. You go on that, like, you hate that
people
that mind block.
People react to failure and take it personally, and then create more roadblocks basically on purpose.
Yeah.
They see one and they're like, I must not be able to do that, and create a barricade from there. I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And I looked at people who were better than me, who were younger than me. I was like, why are they doing so good? Yeah. And it's because they just kept going. And
how are you so smart? How you take these tests?
You from some kind of other planet. But like but like that's it. Like you just like there's, I was saying about dexterity, like doing it right is one thing, but just like the number of hours that you spend doing anything, you're gonna get good at it no matter what. And if you have a lot of things that prevent you from spending time on it, I think the fewer of those things you have, the more time you end up spending, the better you are. And just as a general macro trend of things, that's what makes people strong. And like, as a side note, my family, my immediate family on my father's side are very pious. They're very religious. They're very like, you know, God's our savior. You know, Jesus Christ will save us all. And then they're very, they end up being very closed-minded because the Bible is the end of their personal judgment on things.
I see.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So,
I understand that.
So that ends you up being very closed-minded, but there's merit in that. Because
they have structure.
With a closed mind, they have a simple and therefore very strong and reliable structure that they can make quick and
decisive,
convicted decisions.
Right.
And that's powerful in certain situations.
Right.
It's, you know, it sucks if you're trying to have an intelligent conversation, but like if you're in a situation where you have to react immediately with conviction and with intensity,
they know exactly what to do.
They know exactly what to do because they believe only these three things. And it's simple and powerful and strong and pure and elemental. And forgot where I was going with that. But
I know, but I do. So let me add into that.
Yeah.
Like I truly believe in that. Like I'm a big believer in minimalism.
Yes.
So in that certain situation where you have like these pillars of beliefs or moral ground, it's easy to make decisions that way.
Yeah.
Me being in the military, I learned that very well.
Right.
Because for us, it was one thing: get the job done, mission accomplishment. So whenever I put I think we talked about this multiple times. It's if I want to do something, I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whether it is be creative, do it by the book, or a mix between the two.
Do it by the book until you have to get creative. It's
right.
Really how that goes. Yeah.
And that's true. It's very true. But then I feel like certain people, they either go one way. Because they don't know any other better.
Either know the book as well as you can when they have a problem with that the book doesn't cover, give up, or be creative and then
find a way. You'll eventually get there.
You'll eventually get there if you don't give up. But without the book to guide you through the simple stuff, sometimes you get overwhelmed. Yeah. And so the best way, I'm sorry, I totally interrupted you, but like the best way to live your life is to know your books so that you can get all the dumb little shit out of the way. And then when you get to a problem, you work on your expansion of your creativity such that when you have to solve a problem creatively, you have the capacity to do so. And that's like my main thing. I don't care what I do with my life. I just want to develop my abilities to be ready to react to whatever situation is out there. Right. And so my way of doing that is know my books, know just the information involved in whatever I'm going to probably end up doing. Yeah. Which is I haven't figured out yet, but
Yeah.
but the second thing is expand my ability to think creatively, and a big part of that is tearing down those posters we were talking about, tearing down all the things that get in the way of my perception or my reception of information. If I'm putting fake shit out in the world, then I'm going to receive fake shit. I'm not going to know what to do with it because I'm myself and my posters are not myself. And so being a true person, being genuine is my primary effort to expanding my creativity.
Right.
Yeah.
I would want to add into that. Like, there's big belief. I'm a big advocate of like dichotomy.
Yeah.
I definitely talk about dichotomy a lot when it comes to beauty.
Yo.
The reason why we find things beautiful is because we see the pros of both the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Like, we see contrast of color. Where there's light colors, there's a balance between dark color. And like, wow. Like, I can't explain why that's beautiful, but that shit is fucking gorgeous.
It's the interaction between the two that is organized so beautiful, in such a way that they are balanced.
Yes.
And that's you were talking about dancing earlier.
Yes.
And that connection between people where you click, where you are speaking the same language to the point where your communication is so effortless.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's the same pattern, the same relationship of contrast that you experience where there's balance.
Right.
And when we as human beings experience balance, we are deeply satisfied.
Yes.
Because, and I was saying about funk, I was saying about music, I was saying about dancing. When you experience something that is the same on your insides, your specific insides, that is extrasensory, the things that you don't know about yourself, that are just like that stuff you can't explain.
Yeah.
That is just like uniquely you. Like, oh, I just love your energy. Like all that dumb shit that people say to you.
Right.
Right.
I appreciate it.
Right. Yeah. I'll keep doing it. Whatever it is.
You be you.
Yeah,
I'll be me. Let's connect.
Yeah. But like whatever that is inside you is balanced with something that you're experiencing externally.
Yeah.
That's when you have the deepest satisfaction in life. When you're when you're alive, right?
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Because I think when it comes to relationship, I think of I believe opposites attract. One thing I know that we both believe in, or we kind of just have as a guideline, is the Myers-Briggs personality test, like the personality trait.
Yeah.
It's something like I always get involved about what I find attractive is my opposite traits.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing.
Because I want the circle.
Yeah. And since we're so big into dancing,
yeah.
I want to dance with that person who's opposite of me.
Yeah.
Because they're so opposite of me. Like, if we connect.
Yeah. Very well said. I couldn't have put it any better myself.
Exactly.
I mean, if you think of the physical dynamic of a puzzle piece, they are opposites. They fill in each other's spaces. You think of a man and a woman, penis and vagina,
it just fits.
That's what I'm saying is they're opposites. They are an absence of space and a presence of space that fit together nicely. And that's maximum stimulation. I'm just talking purely physically.
Right.
When you have a hole that is the same shape as the shape of the thing that fills the hole,
the puzzle piece,
you have absolute maximum contact with all of the cells that surround that area, and so you have maximum stimulation, you have maximum joy, you have maximum balance of physical force and physical experience. So what ends up happening is when you find balance, you're satisfied, and you seek out that which satisfies you, and well, we hope.
It's that sense of fulfillment. Like I came to another conclusion that like as men, we like to solve problems very quickly. Whether it's doing it the right way or just trying the shit out until we get it done.
Right.
But with women, they want to do it the correct way the first time. So they kind of take it slow to understand, like, all right, to put it in your sense, in terms of the puzzle piece, if it's like a hole with the circle part, it's like, okay, let's look for circles.
Any square parts.
Yeah, like, why would you put a circle or a square there?
Yeah, you
like,
idiot.
That's dumb.
Are you not thinking?
But then sometimes like, oh, I like sharp corners. Oh, let's try it a little bit.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so I mean, I appreciate those.
Here's the thing, is we can afford to.
What do you mean?
Like, physiologically, evolutionarily, we can afford to make those mistakes. Yeah. Think about like the process of childbearing. We can dump a load and leave and be done.
True.
A woman, once bearing a load, has a 9-month investment of time.
True.
So there's a lot more at stake for her to make a right decision than for us to make a correct decision.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what that Sapiens book you were talking about is mostly. I mean, I feel like that's something that would be covered in that.
Yeah.
Is like the evolutionary motivations between male, female humans, or any animal, but humans being most relevant.
But to play devil's advocate on that, I was telling you earlier. So in the early times, where polygamy wasn't a bad thing.
The olden days.
Or the primal days. I could say that women were a little more promiscuous because there was less judgment at that time. And with that, it's multiple men would think that they're the father and to take honor in that.
Yeah.
But with that, they would also try to raise that child as their own, whether or not it's his or not. Because they didn't have tests at that time.
Right.
So they would teach them their knowledge, whether it was how to build a fire, how to build a shelter, how to gather food, how to take care of their women.
That's fair. But I guarantee you that woman will only select men who could take care of her.
Well, in that perspective, like, wouldn't you need all those perspectives? I don't know, but do you think that? Like, so you need fire, you need warmth, you need shelter, you need food.
Think of these tribes. These tribes have their survival at stake.
Yeah.
They're going to support and reproduce with men who can protect their young.
Right.
So the people or the dudes that could fight off the
animals.
Yeah, the saber-toothed tigers and shit.
Yeah.
The dudes that could handle themselves were most attractive to the women.
Yeah, I mean, to think about why we like bad boys,
like bad boys.
Yeah.
The motorcycle driving. Yeah.
The rebellious. Like, I'm going to kill that guy.
Yeah. There's no stability, but there's a...
it depends what you like. I don't know. He's rebellious. He has his feelings.
Never mind that I was, trained to kill people, but...
but this is subjective to the women. Like, that's interesting to me.
Think about the guys who cannot do those things.
Yeah.
They probably did not get pussy.
Yeah.
And so they...
he probably still gets something here and there.
But their children probably weren't as successful. They got breeded out. They ended up being outcasts from their tribes. It's just things that people cared about. Like I need to make sure our tribe survives.
Yeah.
So, and you're not doing a good job of that. So you're in the back of the line.
Yeah.
As far as, the dickin' gets, goes, right? So... I feel like that's consistent there.
Okay.
Albeit polygamy in the classical sense, like having multiple partners. The reason that's crazy to us now is because of the concept of marriage and singular monogamy, right? which is pretty new. Like, it was pretty like with the introduction of Catholicism, really, not even Christianity, Catholicism specifically, which is really, if you think about it, just a system by which the Roman Empire was able to subjugate its people into contributing to the entirety of the Roman Empire, which is significantly larger than the United States.
I find that really weird when we come to like laws and the way that we have I don't know what amendment it is, but the right to like free religion, to like believe in what you want to believe.
Yeah.
But intrinsically, I feel like Americans, like in the U.S., the society rule is in what way where marriage comes first, where that is almost like a religious belief. Like I know, like I think it's not. I'm probably going to butcher this, but like Buddhism. But they have multiple partners.
Buddhism.
Buddhists. I don't know.
That's what they do at the club.
Yeah, that booty twerk. Booty. That's a religion. But I don't know. That's the thing about that.
I'm a stern, a pious believer in Buddhism.
I don't like this.
Unsubscribe.
No, I mean... I'm a firm believer in Buddhism.
I don't know. It's just the thing about that. Some people are like, they're polygamous and they like that and it works for them.
Yes.
And it comes to religion. It's like, what are you open to? What are you not open to?
Is what you care about because your religion worth the other stuff that you care about because of your religion? In other words, if monogamy is not worth it to you, then the other stuff involved in your religion, religious practices such as like the peace of mind that comes with God's got me.
But I also think it's a tax purpose because we can say like, all right, you're single. All right, we're going to tax you this much. Oh, you're a couple? You guys can make more money, so I'm going to tax you different too.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's why my brother's getting married for real.
That's what, in the military, like, guys join the military at 18, get married for the benefits, and at the same time, they get screwed over because, like, I just married a girl just for the benefits.
And you're miserable!
Right, and then they end up divorced.
Because you ain't in balance.
They try to fill in a hole.
Stupid ass.
They fill in one hole. That doesn't make sense. Puzzle piece unlocked.
Yeah, man, like, I'm trying to come. You know? I don't give a fuck if you pretty. I'm trying to come.
I need a consistent cum dumpster.
And that's stupid and petty, but for real, like if you're, I don't know, like, okay, so I actually grew up Catholic. I have a lot of shame involved in my sexual experience.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to develop a sexual identity.
I see.
And only really through dancing was I able to do that. And like with my sexual experiences, like I realize that there's certain compatibilities that make sex satisfying. Listen, I feel you, but yeah, but like and it really, it's something that's deeper than the social values that we develop as you know, in living in society.
Okay.
It's something deeper. It's something more like human-based humanity. It's based on your humanity. When you connect, when you have electricity with somebody, you have sexual tension with somebody, when you have like when you share sexual energy with somebody, you connect with them very well. And you know, regardless of what they look like, what their job is, what all is not like extra stuff is irrelevant to that sexual energy that you share with somebody.
And it's very primal and natural. Like you can't fight it.
It's physical. And it's like rawly, like outside of anything we know to be couth or proper or, you know, expected or important socially, it's outside of that.
The key word I think you said was raw.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe that when something is raw, you can't explain it. It's like, I don't know why,
but everyone feels it.
I just want to get closer to that person.
Yeah.
Like there's something that
makes
attracts
me breathe
me.
harder.
It's like my heart. It's just that connection. Like, whenever anyone ever tells me like, yo, that was jaw dropping, like in terms of like a dance, or a performance, or whether it was just like them learning something.
Yeah,
it's like that is phenomenal to me. Like,
yeah,
you're stepping on something that you really like.
Yeah,
you should dwell more into that subject or whatever it is. So whenever I hear that, it's like a trigger in my head. It's like, I know what you like.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I coordinate myself. Like, when I got into ballroom dancing, I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm learning how to dance with people, but I didn't really like how structured some dances were.
Yeah.
And I want to dwell more into it in terms of like, how creative can I get?
Yeah.
Like, how can I step outside of the box but remain in the box?
That has been my mission ever since I signed on. To learn about that.
I wanted to flirt with danger. I want to be like, oh, I can do my dance moves, and I want to like step outside, do my move.
How close?
Dab
can
a little bit. Come right back. I'm in there. I'm in there.
You're fucking joking about that, but like,
am I really?
You're stressing me out with how accurate my thoughts are to what you just said. But like, when I get in there, and when I was learning, I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn the book, and then I'm gonna learn the creativity, right? And I find myself going through the process of, how close can I get you to going upside down?
Yes. Like, how can I touch the ground, do some footwork, come right back up, and no one cares?
Feet pointing that way. How does that work? Let's see. Let's find out. You know, within the rhythm of whatever the music original like, what made this dance be a thing in the first place? Yeah. How do I stay true to that while also getting you to flip over backwards? Like, that's
yes, like, I'm so in love with that thought.
That's been my mission for 3 years since I've been training ballroom, and that's what I was trying to talk to all of you guys. I'm like, hey, what can we do? That is my like ultimate thing. Is I'm okay. So I don't know if you're into astrology, but I'm a Gemini. I'm like, my like astral superpower is to be everything. I'm twins. Like, I have two of everything. Like, I have multiple personalities. I have as much variance as possible. Okay. And that's also one of my weaknesses, is I don't commit to things. Focus. I try everything. And eventually my thought process here is, I am going to try as many things as I can, and then find what can integrate them all together, such that I have the broadest blade against anything that stands in my path. Okay. In other words, I'm always looking across all of my art forms at what I can do to integrate them together and create something that is I don't want to say hybrid, but like a omnibrid, like a everything all together, and therefore all of its potency with none of its weakness. Yeah. Right, and that's like my fucking magnum opus. You live in my brain right now. Get out of here. Leave, please. No, I'm just kidding.
How do you guys do that?
It's like
It's so cool. I don't even know what that word means.
It's Latin. It means great work, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it's
like like, that's it's dope. Actually what's the motherfucker, Mad Max, his car.
I never watched that, but I heard good things.
It's fine. You're missing out, but it's fine. So, just live in your shame for a minute. But I want tears. I'm just kidding. but like, his car is called the Magnum Opus. Okay. Because he like salvages shit from all over the wasteland, and he has like the most badass car, and he like kills shit with it, and he a badass.
I heard the story background. He just like kills so many people.
But sorry, the cheese was profuse on that one. Where were we?
I don't know. One thing that comes to my mind is like, one thing that I've realized with the B-boy community.
Beer was a foolish choice, by the way.
No, beer is fucking phenomenal. I love it. I want to dive into one thing I really like about the B-boy community is that it's very not inclusive, but kind of
exclusive. Yeah, super exclusive.
I don't think it's exclusive. where we push people out.
It's exclusive intrinsically. It's not.
Yes.
It's not exclusive on purpose or socially.
Yeah.
It's exclusive because of the high skill cap that's required to garner respect and therefore continue your presence within it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But when I think about dance, like the thing about ballroom, subconsciously I think about white people that dance very structurally and formally.
Yes, I have a primary source on that issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you could also like flip it to
see Exhibit
hip-hop.
A, skin color.
It just happens that way. Hip hop, you think about black people.
Yeah.
But when I hear a B-boy, and the more and more I dive into it, I can see multiple races.
Yeah.
Like, especially with our group on Sundays.
Yeah.
We have one of everything, really, to be honest.
Yeah. The variety pack.
Yeah.
So to speak. Yeah.
But then it's inclusive to be like anyone can jump in. The area, the barrier of entry is very light. You can do it. Try it.
If you can.
If you can, you're right.
Yeah.
But then the exclusive part is that level of if you can do air flares and that thing.
It's very.
All right, then I respect you.
It's very raw.
Yeah.
In that way.
But it's just it's open. When I see other dances, they're not very open to other people. Like I'm not really going directly into the racists or races, but it's more like I like the barrier to entry is light because we're still welcoming. Like when I first time I came there, I came with one friend. He left me after like 10 minutes because he wasn't really a dancer.
Yeah.
But I still had two guys come up to me. It was like, "Hey, what are you working on?" I was like, "I'm working on my flares."
Yeah.
I did that for the whole 3 to 4 hours, just failing, watching, watching. But they accepted it.
Yeah.
If I were to come to a swing class, I mean, yeah, I would get some old ladies who think I was attractive to like dance with me.
Oh, you strapping young
You just want to dance.
You really know how to move that hip. Woohoo!
But it's weird to me that like because to me I'm very like introverted in the way like I just want to work on myself. I want to get better slowly. Yeah. But it allows me to do that without being judged in a way.
Yeah, for real.
And partner dances like I don't know, swing, waltz. Like I could work by myself. But it's not the same. I don't get the same emotion that I have.
Yeah.
And those are more communicative dances.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
And I think there's a significantly more instantaneous and what's the word? It's sort of like a more elemental social aspect to partner dancing.
Yes.
Now, here's the other thing about that, right? Partner dancing does not require an immense level of physical athleticism.
Right.
And therefore, you do not have to go within yourself as deep to create the movements.
Okay.
Right? You don't have to dedicate you don't have to go through lava and fire and brimstone to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
You just have to figure it out in your brain and then have the social prowess to make it work with another person.
Okay.
On the flip side of that, b-boying is quite the opposite. You have to go through hell and then all 9 circles and then come on back to figure out how you're gonna put in the energy, the commitment, and recognize the limits of your body, and then say, "I'm gonna go beyond those."
Yeah.
You have to go through all of that to even have the physical ability to do what the b-boy community expects you to do.
Yeah.
And that journey is something that is not required in the ballroom community, and is something that is the basis of the respect socially in b-boying. In ballroom, because that physical journey is not there, you can be charming as fuck. You can be like a charming, just like have a nice smile. You don't even have to say shit. You just have to know the correct movements.
Yeah.
They're not difficult.
Right.
But they can be more or less correct. They can be more or less like attuned to a partner.
They're a little more forgiving, you can say, no?
I think. Well, I get what I'm getting at is that with ballroom, there's more social expectation because there's more of a social load or a social challenge.
I see.
With b-boying, you are respected for your physicality because there's a greater physical challenge.
Yeah.
So I think those are separate skills and separate separate degrees of intelligence. You can have physical intelligence, you can have social intelligence.
Okay.
And I think I think physical intelligence is more of an intrinsic or an internal perspective, where social intelligence is more of an external or a looking outwards perspective.
Okay.
So, and I think they're both equally connective. In other words, like you have to learn how to make connections within or make connections without or outside of yourself. And I think those are very much separate skills. And I think that's why your experience in doing both or either is so different, is because one is internal, one is external, one is...
That brings me to 3 different things that all come at the same time.
Good.
The first one I want to bring up is the second letter of the Myers-Briggs test. Sensing versus intuition. And I feel like the intuition is the b-boy side. To be able to understand your thoughts and how to express them.
Right.
And then with ballroom, you have to understand the external factors.
Yes.
And understand how this person's moving. Okay, when she moves this way, I have to be able to control her and move in a way that blocks that to make it look beautiful.
Yes.
Or to control the movement and lead in a way that's amazing. The second one is kind of elaborating on the same fact, is to bring it up and together in a way to create something from nothing and to understand what's going on both internally and externally in terms of balance. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've been talking about on all of my podcasts, is finding the right balance of things. Like to say with b-boy, your intuition is very high and your sensing is very low because you just care about getting your movement, landing it, making it clean.
The more you sense, the worse you end up being, because it's so distracting.
Right. Like, everyone's either clapping for you or they're just like, what's he about to do next?
Yeah.
What's that next? And then, but when you go to ballroom, the more you look around, it's like, oh, people are excited.
Yeah.
They're happy for you.
Yeah.
Like they like your movement because you're one of them. And that also brings up to the third point, which is what we were talking about initially, was the balance between social structure versus independence and creativity.
Yeah.
There is a thing that I had my last podcast. It's a realtor. He's a realtor and he's also do music production. He does management for artists.
A nuclear realtor? Sorry.
Real estate. Yeah. Bang!
I want to
carry on.
the world at the same time.
But no, with that is like, to me, that's I like that in terms of he knows how to be creative and be structured at the same time. I find that very rare these days, to be able to flip your switches between reality and the abstract.
Yeah.
Like, this is balance, and this is balance. Like, no matter where you go, as long as what he brought to me was a word called code switching, code switching, and is to be able to adapt to your surroundings.
Yeah.
But also being yourself.
Yeah.
We got into this argument about, like, if you're on a street and a bunch of kids were playing on the sidewalk, do you go to the opposite side to go around them, or do you just walk right through them? He came to the point where he would just walk through no matter what. To me, it was like, oh, if they're playing a game, I'm going to walk around because I'm not going to bother them during their thing.
Yeah.
But we kind of got to this conclusion where, like, why would you walk around them? Like, you're just going to walk through them. Like, why don't you just bother them? It's like, no, I think that would be disrespectful to them because they're having something going on.
Yeah, what?
But then, well,
I get these.
yeah, but we got into race and culture because yeah. So when we were going through it, he got to the point where, like, yeah. I mean, this is my road too. This is my sidewalk. Like I shouldn't have to walk because I'm scared of the situation. Like,
But
yeah, I mean, I see where you're getting at. Let me hear what you're thinking.
well, okay, so there's the rules, which is this is a road and my car goes on the road, or I guess he's walking, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm walking, and this is a place for walking,
Right.
not a place for
playing. Yeah.
But
Just hanging out.
playing's still happening.
Right.
And that's the reality.
Yeah.
That's the reality, which is separate from the expected or the fantasy or the projection.
Yes, what's supposed to be happening.
Yes, and what's supposed to be happening is useful, but you have to only interact with reality.
Yeah.
In other words, your fantasy prepares you for things that have not happened yet.
Yeah.
But you can only interact with that which has happened or is happening. And if you interact as if it was still the fantasy,
Yeah.
or if it was still the tool, then you are, I mean, that's the definition of psychosis. You are.
But it also comes to the point where you don't know what's happening unless you actually make conversation.
Okay, wait, so you're saying like walk through it as in like, hey guys, what's going on? Or like to bother them at all?
No, I mean, just walk through, yeah.
Ignore that something's happening at all.
Right, but then in your head, like what we were talking about earlier in terms of minimalism, you immediately come to judgment to the way that, oh, they're playing, I don't want to bother them. Or, it's like, oh, they wouldn't mind me walking through. Like, those are two different things.
Okay, that's...
Yeah, so when it comes to, like, the thing of the intricacies of what's going on through your mind...
Like, obviously, they would mind walking through.
Making a split decision is hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And, like, to me, it was very... It's just depending on the situation.
Yeah.
So, he's really big into harmony as well. In terms of just, like, you don't know what another person's going through, so why are you judging immediately? But if you don't have the chance, like if I had to go to like if I'm commuting to work and they're in my way, I'm just gonna walk through it because I know what I need to do, and I think that's more important than me interrupting a game.
Right.
So again, it comes to priority, and with that, it's just like there's always a different situation.
For sure.
And it's hard.
Staying open to judging each situation uniquely and with maximum dexterity,
yes,
I think is what allows you to find your closest balance and achieve the most lifetime satisfaction.
And I think it comes to authenticity too. Like if I'm walking through and they yell at me for like, why you walk through our game or something, like, oh my bad, I gotta work. And then, oh, they understand. Work. We gotta make money.
Right.
We're in the process of making money to live.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my bad. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. But if you come back, it's like, oh, what's up? What's up?
Yeah.
And then it escalates and it just ends up into because then it becomes aggravated and bad things happen because then it's a miscommunication.
Yeah,
because people don't know how to communicate.
There's not an agreement of value for what one person's doing versus the other.
Right.
And that's like a pretty big deal. Is like agreement of what's valuable and being able to express. You were talking about like how that's why genuinity or what's the word? Authenticity is genuinity. Genuine is so important is because if you know about yourself, you know what's important to yourself, then you can express that importance to other people. And when you do that with confidence, they'll respect it. Right. Almost every time, unless they have equal or greater confidence in what they're doing is more important. Yes. Which happens. Yeah. And then you argue and then or fight or whatever, to me this is all about just understanding if you have self-awareness of what's going on, you can communicate that Yeah,
very well.
And it, like the consequence of interacting with people is so immense. Like my mom has a chip on her shoulder because, like, oh, you can get the jobs just based on who you know. It doesn't matter what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's legit. If you're fucking charming, like, you deserve to do things that involve interacting with people.
Yeah.
And kind of what I'm saying is that the consequence of being the consequence of interpersonal relationships, or what Damani was relative capital, the value.
I've never heard that, but okay, I like it.
Relational capital, is immense.
Yeah,
like the relative value of your interactions with other people is huge,
right,
compared to your individual skill, individual ability to produce. Like, that is insignificant, no matter how good you are at anything, compared to what you could do if you led 10 people to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I forgot what I was talking about then, but
I mean, to add on to it, like, I really do believe
authenticity and being related.
Yes.
Yeah, but I really like that in terms of no matter how much knowledge you can attain yourself, it means nothing if you can't apply it to the real world.
Share it.
Right.
If you can't share it and apply it, right?
Yeah. Like, no matter how you learn, if you've been through so many life experiences, but you don't know how to tell a story where people are captivated to listen to your story.
What the fuck good was it?
Right. Yeah. It's like, okay, you walk through.
And again, that's subjective, because that person may have enjoyed the shit out of their life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't care about that.
If
I didn't enjoy it.
Right.
I'm enjoying their life.
If Noah didn't know how to split the waters and tell a story of how he did it to make it, like, extravagant in the way that's, like, captivating. Like, oh shit, I split the waters and I walk through. Boom.
And who gives a shit? I split waters all the time when I drink soup.
Right. I drink that shit.
But, like, it depends on how you express it. And then, like, whoever wrote the Bible was a genius, because that's a bestseller from,
life
forever,
Oh, that's another thing I want to dive into. Like, I realized on the 4th of July it was America's 241st birthday.
Yeah.
But the Marine Corps, I don't know how, but we have last year in November, that was our 242nd birthday. So how is the Marine Corps older than America?
The United States.
Yeah.
Because the Marine Corps was generated before the
liberty of...
Because we just had colonies before, when all of them had presidents.
But that's so crazy to me. Like, that's like mind-blowing to me that we're in 2018 and that we have things older than America. Yeah. Or, like, older than 2 generations ago.
The first black president before Obama, that blew my mind.
There was another one before him?
Yeah. When it was 13 colonies, there was one black guy.
Oh.
I was laughing. I was like,
really?
Yeah, it was the president before him.
Fuck yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, white folks don't know about black people, man. Like, I was talking about funk and stuff before, but, like, every single dance that I teach, with exception of waltz and Viennese waltz, which are from Vienna, were written by... Okay, now, I can't even say that, because you know who had African heritage?
What? Who?
Bach. That motherfucker had African heritage.
Bach?
Have you seen the portraits of that motherfucker? Yeah. He was
Who's
straight up...
The piano.
Mm-hmm.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Anyway, sorry, that's an aside. But every single dance that I teach, ballroom-wise, has African root, has an African inspiration, has an African influence, whether that came from the Caribbean islands, South America, whatever. Like, some colonial... Like, the slave trade brought African culture to everything on the east like hemisphere.
Are you in the belief that we're all originated from Africa?
I mean,
I don't know.
I know that Pangea was a thing, and
well, that's when everyone was together.
Right. So, I mean, I feel like without cars and planes, like, human beings probably came out of the same spot and proliferated from there.
It's from the center of Pangea.
No, not necessarily the center. I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know. It was a question. It was just a question. I don't know.
Yeah,
I hear that a lot, that we're all originated from Africa, and I guess Pangea, because it was all connected at one point. And then we kind of just dispersed slowly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know. I mean, like, land is pretty amorphous, and like the ocean prevents land people from living there, so
land people. I'm just calling people, you're a land person.
You fucking land person. I feel like there's a more clever, catchy, fewer syllable way to say that. Anyways,
land person. It's 3. I can deal with 3.
There is. Yeah. Like, fucking land person. That's a thing now. I'm gonna call people just land people. They don't know about the ocean.
That's how
you don't know about the ocean.
You land person.
Fucking land person. You fucking lander. You leg walker. You toe wiggler. Anyway, but all of these things that people love doing, and that they think are very sophisticated and very like fancy and socially. I was saying about how it's like very socially, it has high social expectation.
Yeah,
these are all things that were developed from African culture.
Yeah,
and like it's pretty overarching.
Yeah,
and I can say this as a Caucasian human being.
Yeah, my
culture is afraid of black people.
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing. Like, that's a real thing that I think white people need to deal with. And it's a real thing that black people currently deal with.
Yeah.
Like, that is expressed through, like, infinite tiny interactions in our, like, the way that our policies are set up.
Yeah.
But, like, African culture has developed all of the best things artistically that we have.
Yeah.
Like... And I say that, of course, being as a dance teacher, right. I have the most exposure to dancing,
right?
And there is not a popular dance that is proliferant among people as popular as the ones that are influenced by African culture.
To dive back into Myers-Briggs to me real quick.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
I really like something...
Tangential.
when I think about African culture, I think of the P, in terms of perspective. That they're very loose in terms of structure. When I think of J, I think very structured. So when I think of North America, we like things structurally so we can organize things and make them somewhat disorganized. To be able to classify
predictable
things. Yeah, to be able to predict and, all right, because I can't classify you, I'm going to put a label on you.
Sterilize and industrialize.
Yes. But when I think about African culture in terms of dance, I love it because there's no label to it. There's no limit. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's a rise in entrepreneurship. Because it's not really an African culture or an African result. It's more of like, you can be your own boss. There's no limits. You make your own money.
Sub-industrial mindset.
Yes. Well, I don't know if it's sub-industrial. I think it's a different category.
Extra-industrial.
Yes. Well, but it's not even structured, though. I don't think there's any structure in terms of entrepreneurship, to be honest.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's a definition of it, is finding your own way to make money.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And therefore, it is independent of a pre-existing structure.
Right.
And so it is very much... I don't know. What's the prefix for that?
I don't know.
I feel like extra-industrial, right?
Is it? Okay.
External, outside of industry.
And I think like the best entrepreneurs, when I think about like a Jay-Z, he understood how to make things his own way, how to make money his own way, but then also learn how to befriend the law and work within lawyers and understand how to not get into additional trouble.
The balance of the system and the creation.
So I think the most successful people are the people who can have a good dichotomy of both
strong
lanes.
Books and a strong third eye. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. That's like the moral of the whole story today.
Right. And then I feel like more and more people are understanding this.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to correct things or, in a way, build a bridge between the two. Mm-hmm. And I think that you and I are on the same page that we want to create a dance that is very structured, but free at the same time.
Yes.
I think that's what connected us.
Yes.
In terms of when I was asking questions.
Yes.
Because
to provide people with a way to
express themselves,
understand the rules easily, such that they can express their humanity using them without any obstacle.
Right.
And that's very much a priority. Very much an ideality.
Yes.
Is to have the balance of structure and creation, and that's so it is in life.
We're building our own tribes.
And I feel like that's so powerful. I was talking about like social expectation.
Yeah.
And how there's people you click with.
Mm-hmm.
And in the same way, there's like that physical expectation in b-boying. Just people you are physically more similar to, physically aligned with.
Right.
And I feel like to have a community in which you have alignment or maximal alignment in the greatest variety of ways, or the greatest variety of media, or a variety of like perspectives or like expressions, like art forms, or technicalities, or professions, or any way that you express your way. Mm-hmm. If you have the maximum balance and therefore connectivity between those people, in that raw elemental scale, authentic
because it's raw.
Yes,
that's your true you.
If you have an authentic community, then you have maximal coordination.
Yes.
And with maximal coordination, you have very effective work.
Yeah.
And like I was talking about earlier, like the quality of your work requires a quality of inspiration and absolution in your inspiration and your motives and the things that make you dedicate your time to stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you can have a bunch of people who have nothing that can get in their way, you do anything. Yeah.
And I think there's another thing that we connect to was that we honestly believe that anything is possible if we put our minds to it. And
imagine if you had 100 minds to it.
Right. Like
that
thinking big picture
is ridiculous to me.
And
that is my. So you go ahead.
Well, I was going to add on to it just to be like the reason why I want you and I and Damani to kind of click, because we have two different types of thinking.
Yeah.
But we all kind of want to achieve the same goal in terms of harmony. Mm-hmm. And we just have different audience as well. Mm. I don't know. I'm just really attracted to that. I guess it is to fill into my holes in terms of my personality. Mm. But I understand they're my holes. So if I want to achieve something great, I need to find people like-minded. And I think you also thought this too. I remember on Fridays you were like, I never thought that I could unleash these thoughts. Or I didn't know other people thought this way.
Right. Yeah.
Until you opened your mind. Or until
I started expressing them to people who I didn't think would listen.
Yes.
And then people started listening and I was like, shit.
Yeah. There are other people like me.
I didn't know I could share this. Mm-hmm. I didn't know this would fall onto ears that could hear it.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, that was... That's what we talk about.
Yeah, exactly. We just learn how to communicate in a way that's effective.
Yeah.
It may take some time to find certain people because so many people are accustomed to these societal rules where we can't express our feelings as men, where I can dive into toxic masculinity. But it's only to the point where you understand you are your own person.
Yeah.
We're all different, but yet the same.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing for me to ever explain. I still don't know how to explain that.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of things that you can already assume are the same between all people.
Okay.
Cancel all those out. Mathematically zero it out.
Yeah.
Assume that you already have a chunk of you that's the same between you and I. I could fucking hate your ass.
Right.
but there's stuff that's the same between us.
Yeah.
And I have to respect that.
Right.
So already I'm in the positive, frankly. Got that out the way.
Yeah.
Now,
positive thinking.
Yes.
Being an optimist over a pessimist.
Well, I feel like...
But then there's also like realism versus opportunist.
Pessimism, realism, and optimism are... I feel like realism is optimal because you're reacting and interacting with reality.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like also there's a lot of shit that we emotionally respond to negatively for no reason. It's external to reality, and it yields you being a pessimist. It yields you being less effective as a human being to get your whatever you want to do accomplished because you are adding negativity to a regular situation.
To me, that gets into ego. Where I think I'm more important than you because I think a certain way.
I think ego is a large contributing force to that.
Yeah.
Then you get into optimism, which is a denial of reality in favor of positivity.
Yes.
Which is, you were telling me about this interview that you did, that he was telling you not to talk about death.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to keep it positive. That's that is a denial of reality.
Yes.
And you cannot deny reality. However, you can be realistic, but also choose to appreciate things that benefit you and choose to leave behind or remove your attention to things that harm you.
Right. To me, I'm very big on eliminating things that are negative.
Yeah.
So you can focus on the positive.
That is the editing process.
Yes. Therefore, I think very positively and opportunistically, but I am not opportunist or optimist in the way that I don't realize what's really going on in the present or in reality.
Right. Maybe it will work out. I think that these things are true, and there's about a 40% chance it will work out.
Right. And even though that 40% is less than 50%, I still believe in that 40%, whether it is 40 or 1%.
And here's the other thing. 40% chance that it works out, wonderful. I'm going to make plans for that. The other 60% chance, I'm going to make plans so that whatever happens in this other chance, I'm going to make the best of it.
Yes.
That's not optimism. That's realism.
Yeah.
It's also being effective and being able to control your emotion.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's separate and that's different, and that is just efficiency. Like that's just you being able to control and recognize your power and just be effective, like just to be a present and powerful person, to be real, to be present, to be what's the word?
Present, just being in the moment,
to exist.
Yeah,
that's existing. Is to understand that which is around you and dexterously navigate it.
Yeah. Again, I play devil's advocate again. I've had a lot of conversations with many people, and for those who may think that being an optimist is thinking anything less than 50% may happen, like a chance probability, like to think of our backflips. Yeah. Like for me, successfully doing a backflip on my first try is slim to none. So as soon as they believe that statistic, where it's like a 0.001% that I'll achieve a backflip my first try, then they
won't try it.
They won't ever do it. Right. But then understand after 20 tries, 50 tries, 100 tries,
improve every single time.
So it's either whether you want to work towards your goal or not.
Yeah. And the concept of investment.
Yes. It's all about you, whether do you really want to do this or not, and what's priority to you, what takes priority.
Because you're going to have to invest to get results.
Yes.
And that's something that's scary.
Yes. And this is where I go back.
For me. Like, that's scary for me.
Yeah. But in terms of society now, it's like we cherish things that are very instant gratification. Yeah. Because technology is making things better. Yet no one wants to make things better unless they're those people who do want to make it better.
And I think instant gratification is something that naturally we fucking love. Yeah. And I think that economically, that's taken advantage of, and therefore is everywhere. We're overexposed to it.
Yeah.
You think about, I'm a animal going through the jungle, and I need food.
You're hungry.
I'm gonna die if I don't get food.
You want to get it.
You know what's great? Honey. Honey's fucking good. I'm gonna get that honey, and I'm gonna fight bees, and I'm gonna grab that nest, and I'm gonna eat that shit up.
Yeah.
And it's instantly gratifying. I feel great. I just ate honey. I'm ready to fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
I got the most efficient energy resource that there is.
Yeah. I'm about to go in the water and grab some fish real quick and eat some more. Because now I have a little more energy to do that.
I'm ready to do anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm at max capacity as far as nutrition goes.
Yeah.
Now that was very infrequent. That's something that you've rarely come across.
And because you were facing death at that point of starvation.
Right. Now that we're at a place where there's so much underneath of that we don't have to deal with starvation.
Yeah.
We don't ever have to deal with starvation.
Right.
Most people.
There's grocery stores where you kind of commit to a moral rule, whether you steal, grab like a fruit that's like on the sidewalk, or you pay for it.
Yeah.
And it comes to morals at that point. But you have that intrinsic value of, am I going to die from starvation, or am I just going to take this apple or banana type of thing?
There's so much more that you can think about because there's no urgency.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to die.
Right.
If I don't eat this apple that I found that I see on the shelf. So I'll swipe my card, whatever.
Well, this is gets to the point where I get into parroting. As a teacher, I know that you understand this as well, that we treat our clients as our children.
Children, yes.
We want to teach them as much as we can, as fast as we
in
can.
the time that we have them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we
They
know.
grow up so fast.
Yeah. that is crazy to me. Like, I have clients who've been with me for years, and then I like to take videos of their growth. Like, the reason why I like to do systematically growing in terms of like personal records, PRs, is like, look, last year you could only lift this much amount of weight.
Yeah.
Now you're doing 2x.
Look at your ass.
Yeah, look at that. That's amazing. And I think it's the same thing with dance. Like, I could say, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, I did a backflip for the first time. It was sloppy. And I needed a spot. Now I could
Look
probably...
at your bitch ass.
Yeah, like, now I have the confidence to do more.
Yeah.
Look
at how crispy you are now.
Yeah, look at that. Like, that's
you
crazy
like
to
bonchon
me.
chicken, double fried. Look at that crisp.
Boom!
That's delicious.
Delicious. Yeah.
That's real.
So, I want to hear, like, a story from you is, like, what's your process of thinking when it comes to your clients and their growth?
That is a good question. I feel like it took me a long time, but it's something that I have always been dedicated to develop since I first ever started dancing.
Is it because you have an understanding of how you grew, so you wanted to expand it to others?
I feel like I have an understanding of how humans grow.
Okay.
That I learned through my personal experience.
Growth. Okay.
Yeah. And I feel like dancing specifically, dancing, the thing that I've always tried to quantify what makes a good dancer, because someone can be more physically capable, but they're not necessarily a good dancer. Right. Somebody who has the greatest accuracy of emotional expression or let me say this, somebody who has the best interaction with the music.
Yes. So that's the dichotomy. When it comes to partner dance, there's three objectives. You, the person you're dancing with, and the music.
Yes.
The dichotomy.
Triangle power.
Yes.
Yeah.
The binary effect of solo dance, of B-boy, it's you versus the music. Therefore, you have to expand.
It's a line.
You have to put more power.
It's just a vector.
Yes.
And the more intensity you have your vector, the greater your vector is. But a triangle has more dimensions.
Yes.
And is coincidentally the most stable base structure for anything. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I guess for me too, when I think about business, it's when you have multiple, when you have a polyamorous business structure, when you have more than 3 partners.
An octagonal marketing strategy.
An octi 8,
Yeah.
but more than that, anything more than 3. Yeah, just to think about that, like
Hecaseptagonal.
if you can work with that, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Because then you just created a team.
Yeah.
You created a structure.
If all your team is going in the same direction.
Yeah.
That's Finding Nemo. Swim down.
At an optimal level.
Swim down. Fuck your boat. Swim down. like that's that's leadership, and that's if you have 8 leaders.
Yeah.
That's fuck. Like you're running shit.
Let me bring it back though. What goes through your head and when you're doing a set for B-Boy, like thinking about the binary effect.
That's
you and the music.
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
When I am b-boying, so when I was teaching you how to do a flare, I was talking about like an external force.
Okay.
That like when you swing your body around in a certain way, you experience something that is separate from yourself, that is the momentum of your body swinging around.
Yeah.
That you can get a hold of, harness, and control.
Yes.
Which then, by nudging it around when you dance or when you spin, power move sort of specifically, you're interacting with this secondary force that is your momentum, that is your like the will of physics on your body.
Momentum versus gravity.
Yes. And so when I dance, I feel like I'm in an interaction with my perception of what's happening around me.
Like space?
Okay. What my strength will allow me to do.
Right.
What my body is telling me, listen, man, I ain't gonna hold up if you try that shit. And I basically try to create the most artful and continuous pattern of all those forces.
Okay.
So when I'm doing a b-boy set, I rarely practice, and I am very, very disorganized just as a human being.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is I get in the circle and I have no memory of what happens when I get out.
Yeah.
Because I'm purely in that moment.
You kind of just black out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. And I try to marry myself with the music such that wherever my body falls, I react to it and take it somewhere else. When I'm down in my footwork, I'm relying on the muscular memory of like how I do footwork.
Yeah.
And then when I feel myself do the footwork, when some part of me is swinging around, I can react to that and say, wow, there's some momentum going on here. Maybe if I twist this way, and the way the music is flowing, there's like a whole situation happening, and I'm just trying to fucking manage it.
Yeah.
With my body.
Right.
And it's like,
the music's in you.
yeah, and it's
trying to keep the reins.
Exactly. You're trying to just keep the reins, and I love that feeling.
It's like controlled chaos, could you say?
It's the act of controlling the chaos.
Yes.
And also the will to create the magnitude of chaos that you might be able to control.
Yes.
And that's
so allowing more and more chaos to come in without losing control.
And it's not allowing it, you're creating it. Like
okay.
You are actively creating chaos.
Yeah.
So that you can control it.
Yeah.
And I find myself in the experience that I'm creating too much chaos.
Yeah.
That I can't control it. And I could show you some videos of my battles. When I get excited and when I'm like, yeah,
you just go for it.
Like ready to like fight. When I'm ready to fight my saber-toothed tiger, I overpower a lot of my moves, and I don't know how to react to it because I haven't practiced doing it that hard, and it ends up turning out pretty cool. Like it's cool stuff that I didn't know I could do. Like that's what ends up happening. And,
new level, unlocked.
Absolutely, and I feel like that's such the importance of competition generally. Is to push you emotionally past where you are used to being. And to know that there's something that you're pushing against makes you push harder than you would if you didn't have that. And there's so much merit in that. Like if you don't have obstacles to dodge, if you get to your destination, like, was it worth it? You're going to be way less agile than if you... You don't feel as fulfilled. Because you never went through obstacles or, I don't know, anything that's kind of holding you back. It's like, I could have just walked here. Like, it took some time, but... No. Never, you know? That's fine. And I guess my point in going through all that to say... competition gives you a reason to put up your own personal obstacle that is higher than one that you would conceive by yourself. Now, do you feel that same way when it comes to ballroom, when we think of the trifecta of music, a partner, and you? That's a good question. As I was saying that, I was thinking of that same triangle. Do you think of competition pushing you, or rather you want to build harmony between the three? I think the harmony between the three is my goal. It's a different goal. And I think, honestly, like with b-boying, that myself, my momentum, and the music are my three. I have that same triangle. I just, my partner is the chaos that I'm creating. And that's how I experience it. And I like it. So you think of it the same thing? I mean, I do, like listening myself talk about it. That's really the same for me. Interesting. And I don't know if I've ever really conceptualized it that way, but yeah, I think it's the same. And I feel like the balance between all three is always a priority. And when I compete in ballroom, it's the same. Like I'm trying to like create a story, expand myself as great as I can to interact with the music, but at the same time with the audience as well, maybe interact with my partner such that we are both in the same emotional space that matches with the music. Let me ask you this. Do you think you can create a bigger story with a partner than by yourself? Like, can you elicit a bigger emotion through two people than one? That's a great question. It depends, because we're talking about creating a balance between three forces. And if I have... In b-boying, when I'm by myself, I'm in control of my second force. I'm in control of it because I'm creating it. In ballroom, my partner is in control of herself. I'm in control of myself. But you have to lead. Well, that's true. You have to communicate very well. Leading and following, I think, is an organic process of like a conversation. But as far as telling a story, I think that if my partner knows the same words as me, then our story is going to resonate like two people singing in harmony. That is going to be more powerful than one person singing the same notes. And I feel like with b-boying, I can do that same thing. If I create momentum in this way, and I know exactly where it's going to be, and I catch it and I throw it in the next direction, that's the same level of harmony of my forces as I have with a partner who's in tune with the way we practice. So I think that they can be equally impactful. They have unique limitations and strengths, but if you have I think there's a degree of balance that is elemental. There's a degree of balance that is transitive between anything that you do. And if you can achieve an elemental quality of balance in whatever your form is, with whatever forces are involved in it, you tell the best story.
I have a quote that I have consistently in my head and that relates to this situation, and it's the quote that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. With that fact, like I feel like b-boying to you, or even with me too as well, it's like you're trying to create as much chaos to be able to hold the reins, like as you said.
Yeah.
But
figure out how to hold the reins the best way.
Yes. But when it comes to ballroom, you wanna create as much chaos as well, but you can't create as much chaos as by yourself.
Yeah.
Yet you still want to control the reins. I want to hear if that relates to you in that same perspective. Like how much chaos is it? Less chaos, more chaos with b-boying versus that.
Okay, yeah.
Or creating a narrative in that way.
So yeah, I agree with what you said completely. I am limited in how much chaos I can create when I'm dancing with a partner.
Right.
Which is not a bad thing.
Yes.
Because when I b-boy, I create too much chaos and I'm out of harmony.
Right.
I do too much.
Yeah.
Which yields new opportunities, but
push your own limits.
The product is not as crispy. The product is not the same.
Yeah.
When I have a limitation, I'm more likely to hit it on the money.
Yeah.
I'm more likely to hit that balance.
It looks clean, beauty, and I don't know, elegant. I said that a lot when I was dancing in class. Elegant and sophistication, those were two words that I said consistently when I saw ballroom dance.
Yeah.
I like it, but it didn't fit me in that mindset at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that I guess that bounces to my next question when I'm thinking about people. This is the question I probably ask all my guests. It's like, who are your current 5 people that you are closest to at this very this time, and do you think you're the average of those 5?
I have no doubt I'm the average of those 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
5 closest people to me is my Native American Egyptian goddess witch friend.
Okay.
My hyper ambitious, equally depressed friend who tricks. Probably my dance partner. Who's very ambitious, very great work ethic, but high in self-doubt.
Okay.
Closest to.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a weird thing to quantify, because I spend more time with people who I'm not close to.
Well, so I say I think my top 3 are people I've never met in real life. But
Really?
I consume their knowledge so frequently because I work at a desk job, and throughout my desk job, I rather communicate with these people through YouTube and listening to their lectures or the way they speak or their just conversations, rather than any person that I can immediately connect to.
Yeah.
So that's just me. So I accept that.
Okay, I feel you. Yeah. All right.
Is there someone that you follow, you aspire to think like, or you appreciate their authenticity in terms of the way they speak?
Yeah. That's a good. I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna have to catalog that a little better.
You have to get back to me on that.
I will do that. But to go back to your original question, unless you had some.
No, I was gonna just summarize your top 3 because you said the Native American witch was the 2 big things that came into my head.
Yeah.
The
witch.
That was awesome to me. Yeah. Okay, because then that brings up a little more abstract thinking to your world, because to me that's unknown because I don't know any. Your second one was your ambitious trickster friend.
Yeah.
Which is you also trick. Therefore, you guys trick well together.
Yeah.
And your third was your dancer friend, who's
Yeah.
also ambitious and has self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I see that you guys have some type of self-deprecation in yourselves.
Right. Yeah.
But you have ambition to be great.
Yes.
Which I also see. And then the last two is someone you don't really talk to, or that you personally talk to in physical form.
Yeah.
But those three, I can see clearly in you that even though you and I haven't really connected in person that well.
Spend a whole lot of time together. That's really the only thing.
And I think it's very ironic that I can sense that in you already, just with our interactions together very few times.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I asked that question so much, because it allows me to understand your true self and how you view yourself.
Yeah.
And that's my key to communication. I've always had conflict between wherever my surroundings is, I always present the devil's advocate. I may not be liked in all my circles, but I open the minds of the people in that circle.
Yeah.
Because he fits in our circle, but he thinks differently. But then I have a conflict with my true identity of, am I what I think I am?
Am I the sum of my circles?
Yes. Or am I doing it for them?
Or am I in a circle that just happens to overlap with edges of everyone else's circle?
Yes. Where I was talking to you about, I like to flirt with the
circle.
I don't fit in squares. I don't fit in edges. Puzzle pieces. But that's my own conflict that I'm dealing with personally right now. But I don't know. Like, I like to expand on this with various amount of people and just keep growing myself to the point where, I don't know. I understand a little bit more, at least that aspect.
Yeah, well, to kind of like string all those things together, I feel like it's really easy to interact with somebody who has the same problems as you.
Yeah.
And also the same successes.
Yes.
And more people have problems than they it's
put out there.
Yeah. Well, it's easier for people to talk about their problems than it is to talk about their successes, because successes makes them a target of jealousy and dumb shit. When you talk about your problems, either people ignore you or they're like, man, I got that same problem, and it's like a safe investment of time, right?
Vulnerability is a key characteristic in my heart right now.
Yeah.
Because I think you were telling me, you were praising me on my Instagram.
Yeah.
By the way that I put up photos with a meaningful caption behind it.
Yeah.
And the caption is the way I express myself, the way I was thinking throughout either that day or during that photo. Because I wanted to capture someone's attention, whether I'm doing a human flag or I wanted to dance in a specific way, but in a place that's not meant to dance.
Right.
Like if I showed you a dance video of me, contrast and being binary, or like dichotomy of two different things. That's my goal in life. Just find the beauty of something different in somewhere that's not meant to be. I don't know. That's just me. But now I kind of forgot where I was getting at.
Vogue.
Dang. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have like a philosophy as well? Like another question to that? Like kind of how you roll?
Yeah. I feel like I feel like there's shit. That's a big ass question.
I get deep really quick. I'll give you my example.
Yeah.
All throughout high school and probably a little bit of middle school, mine was very Shakespearean. It was love all, trust a few, and do wrong to none. Yeah. And that came from a gangster persona. Because what I thought was more of, it was that toxic masculinity of where I can't show emotion, but I have morals. So I shouldn't do wrong to anybody, yet I should have love for anyone who's different than I am. Yet, although I love a lot, I can only accept a few who are truly in tune with me.
Yeah, who like reciprocate the love the correct way.
Right.
Not correct, but like the most way that aligns with the way that you express it.
Yes.
Yeah. I respect that a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
My motto is try really hard and care a whole lot.
Okay. It's very aligning to what I was saying.
Yeah, that's like something that I've pretty much hung my hat on because hanged my hat on. Well, anyways, because I have a lot of fear. Like I have a lot of stuff that I'm socially afraid of, and I have a lot of stuff that stops me from putting time in stuff I care about.
Yeah.
And so if I just resolve to do my very best and hold nothing back, I will have nothing to regret.
Yes.
Which is a big fear, is having regret. I will never, ever have regret. Because I will try my best in every situation. And I mean that absolutely.
Right.
Every situation. Right now, I'm trying my very hardest at this exact moment and forever until I am dead, and then I'll figure out what to do from there.
Yeah.
And then care a lot. If I don't like put enough stock into what I'm experiencing at this moment, then I'm gonna miss stuff. And if I miss stuff, I won't be able to try my hardest most relevantly. And
being present, existing.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what that means, is I want to be the most present in the moment to be the most potent per second that I can be.
Efficiency.
Yeah, I mean, basically. I mean, I just want to be I always thought that I wanted to be the best human.
Yeah.
Or like the best at something. I wanted to be like a superhero. I wanted to be like I want to be the best. I want to be the absolute best. Yeah. But I don't really want to be the best. I want to be good. But I want to be good at being a person.
Yes.
And that's like what is a person then? You know. Yeah. But it's all the things that are true to your humanity. The true to like what morally sound. Morally,
I feel like that's very...
The things that bind human beings together.
It should be objective morals to me, but I don't know. I think that's... It can be subjective as well.
Well, I mean... I feel like there's a certain level of objectivity to the things that are important to all human beings. There's a certain level... Hi, you must be Kenny.
Kenny, how's it going?
Officially, it's Nick.
Pleasure. Is there anything that... Last thoughts in your head that you can remember?
I feel like I got started on like 8 different things and I never finished them. But basically, like, love everybody. Like, that's such a simple thing. Yeah. But it requires an immense amount of introspection. Yeah. Love everybody to the best of your ability. If you can't love someone else, then spend your energy loving yourself so that you can then love more. Yes. And I feel like love is just your connection between people, and the tighter your connection between people, the stronger our web is, and the more we can do. And like, just that's it. Like, just love everybody. Love all things. Yeah. Because you can.
My biggest thought when you said that was like, I always had this feeling, even like, I want to say by middle school, is that you can't love another until you love yourself, and you can't help another until you help yourself.
So if you can try, but you're gonna suck at it.
Yeah. And then you probably both fail in that way. I've gone through my own personal experience.
You become parasitic.
Yes.
If you don't take care of your own shit.
Although you had good intentions.
Yeah, I mean, you're in definition of a parasite. Like,
is that really?
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, this is a good situation, but this is something that I can't get for myself. So I'm gonna take it from you, but I'm gonna be here. It'll be great. Yeah, you know. You don't actually know what that person needs. Boom. Motherfucker. You're just taking from me.
Bitch, I'm trying to help you.
I feel like I'm crucial to you existing, so I'm going to keep doing it, or else I feel like I'm going to feel guilty for killing you. Yeah. So this is just dumb. So take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. When you can't take care of others, go back to take care of yourself. Yeah. And,
that will elevate everybody around you. And if everybody around you is elevating everybody around them, is elevating everyone around them, is elevating everyone around them.
Empathy, showing them.
What was that word I used? Infinitude?
Infinitude.
Infinitude.
Finitude. Game theory.
There you go.
I don't know. I feel like you're a very interesting mind to speak to, and I want everyone to be able to reach out to you. Where can people find you? Talk to you.
At my house.
Yeah, man, come on down. I live in Germantown, Maryland.
Do you want to shout out anything? No?
Yeah, I mean, I got my Instagram. You can see me do some flips. And also, I have like a Sharpie marker drawing on there.
Yeah.
So I'm a multimedia artist.
Boom.
But I mostly flip over backwards.
Drop that fire.
You can find me at Nick Taxman on Instagram. That's it, Nick Taxman.
Cool. And you can also find us at Bolt Parkour. Is it Academy?
A word? Yeah, Bolt Parkour and Free Running.
And Free Running in Rockville, Maryland.
On Sundays.
Is it open to everybody?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. How about you just?
You have to DM us.
Yeah. How about actually just DM us? But it's a cool place. Check it out. It's cool. It's a cool place. We'll talk to you, and if we deem you worthy.
Members only.
This one's for professionals.
I'm pretty sure if you got this far, you might be interested.
Right.
Yeah, because I think we've gone on for like 2 hours.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Damn.
If you want to support the podcast, you can buy some merch at sumoliftsapparel.com, or
I need to talk to you about that.
you can help out at patreon.com/theketchup. And goodbye.
I love you.